holding the chisel straight up and down tight against the edge of the material you're cutting out. Just give it a light tap. And then do that around the entire sheet. You will need 12 inches of 1/8-inch dowel and 8 inches of 5/8-inch dowel. Cut the 5/8 on the sliding miter saw. Okay, now let's start the assembly of the clockwork. You have to make sure all pieces are cut out. The bridges are all sanded off. You need to make sure you have your dowels ready to go, your 8 little pieces and 2 2-inch pieces. Of the 5/8-inch dowels, one of them needs to be sanded so it fits perfectly inside these holes. If they don't, your clock will bind up, your lock will bind up. If it doesn't fit perfectly, all you have to do is get a piece of sandpaper. Just go around it a few times. Just keep rotating as you sand it. And as you get it smaller, it just takes a little teeny bit, and then pretty soon you'll be able to fit right on there, and it'll be a smooth turn. You don't want a lot of slop. It has to be a nice even turn. Now arrange your dowels. You find you have these little washer things. You've got 4 different sizes. One is a large one, 3 middle, 4 next one, and then 4 of the smaller 1/8-inch ones. You may not need all of these, but for now we'll have them there. Okay, then you probably need some glue, and when you get the glue, you put just a little bit on a scrap. You're not going to need a lot of this. First thing you do is put just a little bit of glue around the bottom edge of the dowel that you just sanded to make everything fit. And then you put that inside the lower of the 2 holes. You've got the 2 holes there. Put it in the lower one. Push it down. Make sure it's and then make sure it's snug, and then get all that extra glue out of there that you don't want, because that's going to cause a problem. Just make sure it's sitting on there square. You want to make sure when you cut these dowels to length that you do the cross-cut miter sled so you have a good, clean, square cut on the end. Okay, I'm just going to let that sit. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pin these pieces together in sets of 3. To do that, I just take one of my 1/8-inch dowels and just drive it into that little hole, kind of like I would a nail. And you see it starts to do that. Now, once you get it started, put just a little bit of glue in there. It doesn't take much. You don't want to squeeze it out all over the place. And I'll go ahead and put some on this piece right here while I'm at it. Pull apart, put them together like that. Slip that on there, and all you're doing is making a solid piece here. You can drive that one home. Bring it around. And these holes in this their only purpose is to give a registration so all these pieces line up. So that's one. I'm going to do the other one real quick here. I'm going to put the glue on ahead of time this time. Make sure they're lined up. The trowel's not going to fit all the way down through there. Don't pound too hard. If you break one of the dowels off in here, you have to get an 1/8" drill and drill it out to remove the pieces before you can replace it. And do the same thing on this little one. This is the plunger that actually works as the lock mechanism. Okay, that's those three ready to go. Then the main base plate. Now these holes, you have to hold them up to the light to make sure that you can see light all the way through. If it's turned like this, even though it looks like it might work, the holes don't line up. So put a little bit more glue on this one. That is kind of the foundation for the mechanism. And the dowels aren't going to go all the way in. Yeah. Speaking about getting it backwards. If they stick out a little bit, you can just go back and sand them off on a big belt sander back there. The edge belt sander. And just to make sure these are tight, it doesn't hurt to bring that out. Open up the clamp and just stick them in there for a moment. Okay, now the next thing you have to line up is you've got a series of pieces. This piece right here, the large piece, then you've got a middle one, then you have three of the other ones. Now these right here, you've got to put those on a dowel, and they have to be able to fit inside the opening in the door. And that's a step that I'm going to have to insert on this. I'm going to have to show you that. But you put this on a loose fitting dowel, you go to the sander, sand it down, and then you take them off.